Mining update, lesson about the industry and job hunt video. Welcome to Australian Mining for New Starters, and today we are going to talk about the prices. Gold's made a new high, it's over $4,000 Australian an ounce. We're going to talk about the death of the surface truck driving job in the industry. Unfortunately, all the surface truck driving jobs in the strip mines and the shallow pits look like they are going to be replaced with driverless trucks. Westrac in WA has just announced a big expansion to their training facility, which we'll have a look at, and we'll also do a job hunt video at the end. But first, I just want to give a big shout out to Kerry, who let me know that he did our our DIY training package. He just got a job with Byrnecut, starting at Invincible as a truck driver on a 2-on-1 roster. Took him about 4 to 5 months. He's been close a couple of times with other companies, which is good to hear. But what's even better to hear is that he's 64 and he's just wanting to have a go. And because he learnt how it all works, they're prepared to give him a go. And that's what I try and tell people. When you know how their mind works and you can talk to them about what's going on and use all the right terms and hold a conversation, a basic conversation with them about what's going on their mine site, you've actually got something to offer them, because it's more about what you can do for them in the short-term future, about what you've done in your past. And like I keep saying, it is all about bums in seats. And that's where it's all at. They need people, especially in the hard rock underground mines where they can't establish the exclusion zones to use the driverless trucks. They actually are going to need bums in seats for a long period of time. So that's all where all your jobs are. So let's click over to our gold price. And again, this is the price that you have to pay if you go down to the Perth Mint. I think it's going to be a bit more than that. I think this is on a bit of a delay because the price that I got off the trading desk this morning was $4,058 an ounce Australian, so I would have expected that to be a bit higher than that. The copper price is $14,134 Australian, and if we move over to the iron ore price, that's come down a little bit, but it's gone back up a bit because of everything that's going on in the world. So that's 105. And if we have a look at our coal price, that's jumped back up a little bit as well, probably because of what's going on in the world, but that's still under $120 a tonne. Now, when you think about coal and people think about jobs in coal, what you need to understand is 2.5 years ago, the coal price was almost $400 a tonne US. Now it's $120 a tonne US. That's why the coal industry is doing what it's doing. It's the same with iron ore. Iron ore, there's a number of big projects that have been put into care and maintenance for a number of different reasons, which means that there's a number of people running around with all the skills that they need. And throwing on top of all that, the fact that they're getting rid of all the surface truck drivers and replacing them with driverless trucks, it makes it pretty hard. So if we come over to our map, and we start our lesson. This is our where all the gold and copper mines are around Australia, and this is where you really need to be looking for work, because this is where people have got no choice but to hire new starters. They don't want to hire new starters because every time they hire new starters, it costs them lots of money. But in the gold and copper mines, especially the underground hard rock ones and surface exploration, those companies have got no choice. They've got to hire new starters. So that's where you should be looking for your job. Now, why am I telling you that it's the death of the surface truck driving job? Well, I couldn't find the Channel 7 article or the Channel 7 news segment online anywhere that came up last week, but a few people have written about it, and this is one of them. And basically what it is Westrac, with funding from the WA government, have expanded their driverless truck training facility 5-fold. So they're making it 5 times as big. And they're also doing other things like putting bulldozers onto the driverless system. And so basically moving forward, it looks like all the big iron ore sites and a lot of big coal sites are all going to be turned driverless, and anything in a satellite pit that's probably down 100 meters, they're probably going to have some sort of technology where they drop a box close to that site, and then they just put the driverless trucks in there as well, just to do that as well, and you'll operate it from a cabin that's a period of away from where the actual mine is. And the issue with that is, and I've talked talked to a few people about it, is that they've got it down to now where they've got people using computers to run trucks. And I've also talked to other people that say that those people that are using the computers to drive trucks and drills and dozers and all that sort of stuff, it might only be another 5 years before they can get a computer program or an AI program to do what they're doing. So not only is that job going to, that job potentially could go from a surface truck driving job that's paying, $130,000 to $150,000 a year to a computer job that's paying $75,000 to $90,000 a year, to no job at all because they've replaced it with AI. And that's the way that I think that's going. Now, the reason that I like to steer people towards the underground side of things, especially if they want a long-term career, is that with the way the law's set up around the country with these driverless trucks, it's all about the exclusion zones. And you've got to be able to set your equipment up in the exclusion zone, or if you're using the big strip mines in iron ore mines, those big trucks have got a 250 metre radius around them, so if they come into something with 200 metres, they just stop dead. The other way of doing it is you have all the trucks in the pit and you've got laser barrier all the way around, and nobody goes in except for the big trucks or the surface trucks. They do what they've got to do. Anybody crosses the laser barrier and the whole thing shuts down. That's the same way that we run the boggers underground. They're all sealed off onto the levels when they're driving themselves between the stope and back to the stockpile when they're remote bogging, but there's lasers, so as anybody cuts the laser, the machine stops dead. Now, you can't have a system like that running in an underground mine because there's just too much potential for stuff to go wrong. So the way I look at it is that the underground jobs won't be replaced until the trucks are driving themselves on the public roads on the surface. That's about the same time that the underground trucks will be replaced. Surface trucks, because of the way they can do it, the deep pits like the super pit and a couple of the big deep pits around the country, they won't get replaced because you obviously can't have your driverless trucks going up and down the pit and people in utes driving around them and all that sort of wonderful stuff because of the exclusion zones. So there'll be a few deep pits that'll need people, but anything that's 150 metres or above, is probably going to get replaced by driverless trucks, and that's already making a big impact to the industry, and it's going to continue to make a big impact to the industry. So what I'm trying to say is that, my personal opinion is that the surface truck driving job is dead. Unless you're prepared to move to Kalgoorlie and do the super pit or one of the big mines in northern Queensland, everybody's going to go down this path because it's so much cheaper and the people supplying the trucks are pushing it. So if you want a mining job, my recommendation is to check out the underground side of things. And if you type underground into Seek, you can see all the jobs come up, and there's lots. You see entry level in both for Byrnecut, both WA and New South Wales. Underground truck, entry level Byrnecut again, because they had the ad up 19 days ago. That's how desperate they are for people. The underground dump truck job with Byrnecut, that's one of the ones that Kerry got. They're always looking for people. Olympic Dam in South Australia. There's jobs all over the country as well. And the big thing is that if you can show them that you know how their mine works, you've got something to offer them. The other place that you can go to have a look at these jobs is our mining jobs to apply for page. So that's in our courses column, just about halfway down. And as you can see, we've loaded up all the jobs that we think you should be applying for. So the Nipper and Truck Driving Assessment Centre for Westgold, that's in there. You can have a look at all that. But there's lots of jobs around and everybody's looking for people. So the easiest way to get yourself a job is to learn how it all works. And this is the DIY package that Carrie did. It's $495. It's about 50 hours worth of information. It's not a tick and flick course. It's an old-fashioned study course. You've got to actually learn the information. But if you learn it, then you've definitely got something to offer the employers. And if you want some help, then we do a work-ready package that comes with your resume done, and you get one of the shift bosses like myself to help you. So it becomes our job to prep you and make sure that you've learnt everything properly. If you want your resume done and you just want to do the online stuff yourself, because you think you've got a handle on the study, which a lot of people do, then you've got the 3-step plan, or you can just have a go at it yourself like Kerry did. And there's full instructions on how to redo your resume, interview prep, all that sort of stuff in there. So it's a really good way to go. If you educate yourself, you've actually got something to offer the employers. And like, I just want to say congratulations to Kerry again. Well done. It's a really good thing that you've done, and encourages lots of other people to have a go at doing it themselves. So well done, and I hope you have a long and profitable career. So that's our lesson for today and our job hunt video. I haven't included the other ones that I normally do with drillers, offsiders and utilities, because I really just want to focus in on helping people get production mining jobs. I think it's a bit of a waste of time when people come at me wanting utility work because they think that they can jump from a utility job into a mining job. It just doesn't work like that. Go and have a look at the poaching rules on the YouTube channel. If you just click that one and type poaching in there, all the videos will come up and show you how what happens, and it'll explain to you what's going on. But I hope you found that information helpful, and if you could share this video around and like and subscribe the channel. Thanks.